Okay, ready for a deep dive into something kind of different? We're going to explore romantic compatibility, but based on zodiac signs. You guys sent us this guide to the best and worst pairings for each sign, and I gotta admit, I'm pretty curious. What do you think? Even if you're not super into astrology, it'll be fun to see what we find, right?
Totally agree. Astrology, it's not an exact science, obviously, but it can be a really cool way to think about personality and how people connect,
For sure. So, even if you don't believe in the whole zodiac thing, I think we can all relate to the idea that certain types just click and others, well, not so much.
Exactly. Today we're focusing on those core traits and emotional needs each sign is known for and how those might play out in romantic relationships. Could be insightful, whether you're a believer or not.
Love it. Okay, so let's jump in, starting with Aries. The guide says their best match is, Leo. Talk about a power couple, right?
Yeah, this pairing, it's got some serious potential. When you consider how bold and energetic Aries is, and then Leo, loving attention, always making these grand gestures, it's easy to see the attraction.
Totally. I'm already imagining a couple who's always up for an adventure, pushing each other to be their best selves. So what does the guide say specifically about why this pairing is so strong?
They highlight the shared fire element as a key factor. Passionate, energetic, always needing excitement. Aries brings that initial spark, the initiative, while Leo brings warmth and the staying power to keep the flame going strong.
It sounds like they'd keep each other pretty entertained. But what about the flip side? Who should Aries avoid at all costs?
Well, the guide says one of the worst matches for Aries is Cancer. And actually, this makes sense to me.
Really? Tell me why.
So Aries, they're known for being direct, even blunt sometimes. Very action-oriented, don't shy away from conflict. Cancers, though, super sensitive, emotional. They need a partner who understands their subtle cues and who approaches disagreements gently.
Interesting. It really highlights how important communication styles are in any relationship. Okay, let's move on to Taurus. This one surprised me. The guide says their best match is Capricorn.
Right. At first glance, you wouldn't necessarily put those two together, but when you look closer, it makes a lot of sense.
Okay, I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
So both Taurus and Capricorn are earth signs, right? Meaning they're grounded, practical, really value stability. They'd be amazing at building a secure life together. Taurus brings that sensuality, the appreciation for the finer things. Capricorn, well, they provide structure and discipline to achieve those shared goals.
So maybe not the most spontaneous couple, but they'd have a rock-solid foundation, which a lot of people really crave, honestly. But we gotta talk downsides, too. Who should Taurus steer clear of?
Aquarius, it's that classic opposites attract, but in a way that might not work long-term.
I'm starting to see a pattern here. It's about understanding those core needs and values. So what's the fundamental clash between Taurus and Aquarius?
Taurus, they crave stability. Routine, predictability. They want to know what to expect. Love familiar surroundings. Aquarius is all about change, innovation, pushing boundaries. They get bored easily, always seeking new experiences.
Sounds like they're speaking completely different languages in terms of what they want from a relationship. Okay, next up is Gemini. Their best match, the guide says, is Libra. Air sign synergy, right?
Absolutely. This one just makes so much sense on multiple levels, both Gemini and Libra, air signs. Known for intellectual curiosity, their love of communication, always socializing.
So I'm picturing the couple that's always hosting dinner parties, going to art gallery openings, debating everything under the sun.
Exactly. Always exploring new ideas together, and they'd have a blast doing it.
I bet. But even the best matches, right? They have challenges. So who should Gemini be wary of?
The guide points to Virgo as potentially not the smoothest match. Think about how different their basic approaches to life are, and it's not hard to see why.
Yeah, free-flowing Gemini and organized Virgo. I'm struggling to see how that works. Is there any upside at all?
Potentially, they could balance each other out in some ways. Gemini helping Virgo loosen up a bit, Virgo helping Gemini be more grounded. But the reality is, core values are different. Gemini thrives on flexibility, going with the flow. Virgo wants order, predictability, all the details just so.
Makes sense. Even if there's initial attraction, those deeper values, that's where long-term compatibility comes in. Okay, on to Cancer. Their top match is Scorpio, says the guide.
And this is a pairing known for intense emotional connection. Both water signs, right? Deeply intuitive, sensitive, tuned into their own feelings and each other's.
Beautiful. It sounds like they could really create that safe space, that emotional intimacy both signs need. But let's be real, not every match is astrological bliss. Who should Cancer steer clear of?
Guide says Sagittarius could be challenging. Honestly, this one, it doesn't surprise me.
Interesting. I wouldn't have thought of them as incompatible at first. Tell me more about what makes it tough.
So Cancer needs that emotional closeness, security, very nurturing, wants a partner who'll be just as devoted. Sagittarius, though, fiercely independent, values their freedom above all else. They can be a bit commitment phobic, struggle with expressing emotions openly.
Sounds like wanting different things out of the relationship, ultimately. Okay, next up we have Leo, their best match. Drumroll. Sagittarius. I can already picture the adventures these two would have.
High energy, optimism, that zest for life. Both fire signs again, so excitement, spontaneity, pursuing their passions, that's what they thrive on.
Any Leos or Sagittarius listening, tell me this isn't spot on. You guys crave that constant excitement, don't you? But let's flip the script now. Who should Leos avoid?
Well, the guide says one that could be especially tough is Taurus. Clash of strong personalities, different priority.
Oh no, two stubborn signs together sounds like a recipe for some major power struggles.
It's true, both are fixed signs. So, yeah, determined, but it can also mean stubbornness. And they want different things in terms of how they spend their time and energy. Leo loves attention, social events, being in the spotlight. Taurus is more low-key, prefers cozy nights in, indulging those sensual pleasures, enjoying a slower pace.
So Leo's out on the town, shining bright, while Taurus is curled up with a book and a glass of wine.
Exactly. Their whole approach to life and what they seek in a partner is just fundamentally different.
All right, that covers the first 6 signs. Some surprises, like Taurus and Capricorn, others that make total sense, like Gemini and Libra, but more importantly, starting to see how understanding those core traits, those needs, gives us insight into relationships, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. And honestly, we've only scratched the surface. So much more to explore.
Already hooked. Stay tuned, everyone, because we'll be back soon to dive into the next 6 signs of the Zodiac. All right, welcome back, everyone. We are back, still going strong with this deep dive into Zodiac compatibility, using this guide you guys sent to the best and worst pairings. Before the break, we were talking about some really interesting stuff, like Aries and Leo, so passionate, and then Taurus Capricorn, who knew they'd be so stable together. So let's keep going with the next sign, Virgo.
Awesome. So Virgo, they're an earth sign, known for being practical, detail-oriented, they love order. And this guide says one of their best matches is Taurus.
Yeah, it makes sense to me. 2 grounded signs, practical recipe for a stable and harmonious relationship, right?
Totally. Both value security, loyalty, building a strong foundation. They're hard workers. Both appreciate the finer things, like a comfortable, beautiful home.
I can totally see them like planning their dream garden together, being super organized with their money, having those chill nights at home. But we can't forget about the potential downsides. The guide talks about some pairings that might be harder for Virgo. Which one stands out to you?
Well, one that could be tricky is Virgo with Sagittarius. Sagittarius is a fire sign, loves freedom, spontaneity, adventure, that whole thing. And while Virgo wants order and things to be predictable, Sagittarius loves the unexpected, acts impulsively.
Oh yeah, I can see Sagittarius driving Virgo up the wall with that, leaving stuff everywhere, not planning ahead. But is there anything these two could learn from each other, even if it's a bit of a clash?
Oh, for sure. Every pairing, even the tough ones, they have the potential for growth. In this case, Virgo could help Sagittarius get more grounded, focused, and Sagittarius could encourage Virgo to, loosen up a little, be more spontaneous. It's all about compromise.
Such a good point. Even in the most challenging pairing, something to be learned. All right, on to Libra. This guide says one of their top matches is Aquarius. More air sign synergy, love it.
So much potential with this pairing. Both are intellectual, idealistic, drawn to beauty, harmony. They'd have those stimulating conversations, go to cultural events, maybe work together to make the world a better place.
Oh, I can totally see them hosting these amazing dinner parties. So many interesting people talking about creative projects, getting involved in causes they care about. But we gotta flip the script, right? Who should Libras try to avoid?
Guide says Libra and Capricorn might not be the most harmonious. It comes down to different priorities, how they approach life.
Interesting. Capricorn's all about work, ambition. How does that clash with Libra's need for balance and getting along with everyone?
Libra is super relationship focused, wants peace, fairness in everything. They avoid conflict, got to keep things harmonious. Capricorn, though, they're driven, focused on reaching their goals, even if it means sometimes putting the relationship second. They can be demanding of themselves and others, might not always prioritize Libra's need for that emotional connection, that reassurance.
really highlights the importance of shared values, especially when it comes to things like work-life balance, how you deal with emotions. Okay, next is Scorpio. The guide says their best match is Pisces, another water sign duo.
This one is known for deep emotional intimacy, that intuitive understanding they have, both incredibly sensitive, compassionate, really in tune with emotions, their own and other people's.
Sounds incredibly romantic. I'm sure even this pairing has its challenges, though. What does the guide say about Scorpio's worst matches?
One that could be tough is Scorpio with Aquarius. Because Scorpio craves that deep emotional intimacy, things to be intense, while Aquarius is a bit more detached, values their independence. Scorpio might get frustrated by Aquarius not being emotionally available, and Aquarius might feel overwhelmed by how intense Scorpio is.
Good reminder that even when there's that initial spark, long-term, it's about those basic needs, how you each handle emotions. All right, moving on to Sagittarius. Top match, according to this guide, is Aries, adventure time.
This is the pairing for energy, passion, needing those new experiences. Both are fire signs, of course, so spontaneity, pushing boundaries, exploring, that's what they love.
Backpacking across Europe, starting a business on a whim, saying yes to everything, I can totally see it. But who should Sagittarius avoid?
The guide says Sagittarius and Cancer might not be the most compatible. Comes down to their very different approaches to emotional needs, commitment, all that.
So how would Cancer's need for security clash with Sagittarius's love of freedom?
Cancer is about nurturing, that emotional closeness, creating a home, a family feeling. They need a partner who's fully present, emotionally available. Sagittarius, though, they value their independence, their freedom, above pretty much anything else. Might be a little commitment phobic, sometimes have trouble expressing their emotions openly.
Sounds like they're just on different wavelengths when it comes to their feelings. Okay, on to Capricorn. This guide says one of their best matches is Virgo. No surprises there. Gotta love that practicality.
This is a pairing built on mutual respect, having those shared values, strong work ethic. Both are grounded, practical, like things to be structured, organized. I can see them being a super supportive couple, helping each other succeed, building a secure and comfortable life.
Beautiful home, finances perfectly managed, always a plan for the future. I love it. But every rose has its thorns. Who should Capricorns maybe watch out for?
The guide suggests Capricorn and Leo could clash. Leo loves attention, spontaneity, while Capricorn is more reserved, likes to plan things out.
So Leo's need to be in the spotlight might clash with Capricorn wanting to be in control, having a more structured life.
Exactly. Capricorn might think Leo is too flashy or irresponsible, while Leo might think Capricorn is too serious, too restrictive. Different approaches to life and love that could create friction over time.
Okay, last but definitely not least, we have Aquarius. And the guide says one of their best matches is Gemini, another air sign power couple.
Oh, this pairing thrives on intellectual stimulation, being open-minded, loving all things unconventional. They challenge each other, explore new ideas, probably never stop having those fascinating conversations.
Attending lectures, debating philosophy, constantly pushing boundaries. I love it. But gotta address the other side of the coin. Who should Aquarians avoid?
The guide says Aquarius and Pisces might not be the most compatible pairing.
Really? Why would a dreamy, intuitive Pisces clash with an intellectual, freedom-loving Aquarius? I'm curious about this one.
Pisces is all about deep emotional connection, empathy, intuition. They often communicate through feelings, those nonverbal cues. Aquarius, on the other hand, more detached, intellectual, sometimes has trouble expressing emotions openly. Values their independence, can be a little aloof when it comes to emotional intimacy.
So Pisces might feel overwhelmed by Aquarius's intensity, while Aquarius might feel stifled by Pisces's need for emotional closeness.
Exactly. Different emotional wavelengths, which could lead to misunderstandings, hurt feelings.
Well, there you have it. We've gone through all 12 signs of the Zodiac, their best and worst matches according to this guide. Any surprising insights so far?
I think what's really interesting is how these pairings highlight the importance of compatibility going beyond just that initial attraction. It's about those shared values, how you communicate, those emotional needs. They all play a huge role in whether a relationship will last.
So true. So even if you don't take astrology as like the ultimate truth, it can still be a fun way to understand yourself and your partner better. What do you think?
Any final thoughts for our listeners as we wrap up this deep dive? It's funny, right? Even if you're not like a believer in astrology, this whole compatibility thing, it makes you think.
Oh yeah, for sure. It gets you curious about why you connect with some people and just, I don't know, clash with others.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like we talked about Taurus and Virgo being a good match, both practical, grounded, all that. But say one's super messy and the other's a total neat freak. That shared sign doesn't magically fix everything, right?
No way. Astrology, it might highlight some potential good stuff or some challenges, but real compatibility, it's way more complex. How you communicate, what you each value, how you handle disagreements, that stuff matters so much.
Okay, so let's say I'm listening and I am into astrology. I hear my sign's best match is, I don't know, a Gemini, but I'm dating a Scorpio, supposedly terrible together. What am I supposed to do with that? Freak out. Dump them immediately. First of all, no need to panic. Astrology's a tool, not like a rule book. It's about understanding tendencies, not your destiny.
So it's not like you're doomed.
Not at all. A bad match on paper, it might just mean you got to put in some extra effort to really get each other.
Okay.
And that effort can actually make your bond even stronger.
Wow. That's kind of empowering when you think about it. Like, you go into it knowing, okay, there might be some bumps, but you're ready to work through them.
Precisely. And let's be real, even the best astrological matches, they face real-life challenges. No relationship is perfect, stars or no stars.
This is making me think of those quizzes you see online, like, what's your love language? Similar idea, right? Yeah. Tools to help you understand yourself and your partner.
Such a good connection. Whether it's astrology, personality tests, relationship advice books, whatever, they're all trying to give us the words to talk about that stuff that makes or breaks a connection, you know? That stuff that's hard to put your finger on sometimes.
So even if you're not sure about the whole Zodiac thing, this deep dive hasn't been a total waste of time.
Definitely not. If anything, it's got us thinking about what we want in relationships, what our needs are, how to communicate those needs to our partner. Super valuable, no matter what you believe.
Love that. Okay, any final words of wisdom for our listeners before we wrap things up?
I'd say this. Whether you're super into astrology or you think it's all a bunch of hooey, the most important thing is to go into your relationships with curiosity, with compassion, and be willing to learn and grow with your partner.
So well said. And on that note, we'll wrap up this deep dive into the world of astrological compatibility. Thanks for joining us, everyone.